Hello and welcome to episode 12 of the Cestrian Central podcast. Today I'm joined by Ben Fillingham.
Hello.
And Fabio Passerina.
Good afternoon.
So in this episode of the podcast, we're going to look at Chester's recent game against South Shields at home. And we're also going to look ahead to the game on Good Friday against Buxton, which is an away game. And we'll also, in this podcast, look at the women's team and their result against the Poulton Victoria ladies on Sunday, as well as looking ahead to their next game at the weekend also. So we hope you enjoy. So we're going to start by looking back at what was a very frustrating game against South Shields on Saturday. I think that's now 4 games without a goal, 7 without a win. Fabio, we were both attending. What did you make of that game?
It's just the same old, every single week. Unfortunately, it's the same again. Chester were probably the better team for the majority of the game, really, holding more of the ball, creating more of the chances. Just couldn't score a goal. It's just the same every week, and I got a feel from now they're really struggling to find the onion bag. Apparently, it's been called, as I've just found.
Good phrase.
The onion bag is a phrase of the net. But yeah, again, just several chances. They hit the bar and great pressing as well. Caton nearly scored, pressing the goalkeeper, and unfortunately got injured. Not so clinical, Charlie Caton. Unfortunately. But a goal for South Shields right at the end of the game. Just as you described it in your match report, a sucker punch, really.
It is, yeah. I think what's frustrating as well is that actually Chester played. We were saying when we were there, they played a lot of good stuff on Saturday, and they were the team on top. And in the end, all it was from South Shields was a long ball, a flick on, and to be fair, a good finish by the forward. But it's so frustrating because you look at their position in the league and the fact teams around them got games in hand. It's going to be very difficult, I think, now to get into those playoffs. So.
Yeah, I think was it Blackett who scored the winner? Fantastic goal for him, to be fair. Personally, carried the ball from, like you said, from a goal kick, and it flicked onto him, and then he carried the ball, created the space in the area, and found the bottom corner beyond Stanway. Defence probably could have done a little bit better, pressing him a bit. I think it was just tired legs at this point. They'd given their everything, come up with nothing again. Like I said, all game there were just chances left, right, and centre. Balls being flashed across the box with no one on the end of it and stuff, and it's frustrating, really. They really need to sort their goal scoring problem out as soon as possible if they want any chance of reaching the playoffs, because it's kind of out of their hands now. Is it 8th now? And South Shields in 9th, but they've got a game in hand and they could leapfrog them and go into the playoffs themselves. So yeah, I think it needs to change quite soon.
I think if you were to show someone an example of the archetypal away performance, it would be every Chester home game. Every away team comes to Chester, sit back, watch as Chester pretty much just pass sideways and backwards, and there's no pace to the attack, really. It makes it easy to defend. But teams will then go nick a goal on the counter because Chester are obviously committing men forward. It's a home game, the pressure's on them to win the game. It leaves them open at the back, and obviously it's happened against South Shields, Southport.
I think, looking at the last few games, Southport, Curzon, they didn't end up losing, but again, it was very similar in that there wasn't too much being created. And I think as well, if you look at the goals that Chester have conceded, they're almost very simple, and the Southport goal was just a ball into the box, and then the forward wanting it more and rising higher than Matty Williams, and that's all it comes down to, really. It's very, very frustrating, but
yeah, when they do concede, it's usually in the same circumstances, just hit on the counter or like a ball over the top, and it's unfortunate, really, because they can defend really well. It's just they need the goals to back it up, because they are only conceding 1 goal roughly a game, which is enough to win a game with, but you need the goals to come with as well, which they don't have.
So this weekend, Cal McIntyre's side are back on the road on Good Friday against Buxton, who are 14th in the league. So on paper, you'd say Chester have a good chance of a result here, but it's going to have to be a much better performance than in recent weeks if they're going to get something from this one.
I mean, it's weird because Chester have a better home record than away, but the way they play now suits being away more. I think we'll see a performance where it's more of the same from Chester, but because Buxton are at home and they'll come out to play because of that, and maybe they'll push a few men more forward, they'll sit a bit higher, and that'll give Chester the the initiative. Just hoping that they can be more clinical and put chances away when they do create. Because it's not an easy game. Buxton are, they're not mugs. They're not down at the bottom of the table, but also playing those teams out at the bottom can be dangerous. And Buxton are sort of in that gap between the playoff battle and the relegation battle. Where are they on the beach? So could it be an easy game for Chester?
We should probably note the reserve fixture as well in January, where Chester were beaten 1-0 at home by Buxton, and it was a very, very frustrating day, similar to some of the performances recently, where they got beat 1-0, conceded early, and in the end just couldn't find any sort of real quality and ended up losing the game. So
yeah, it's a strange one at weekend, really. Not weekend, Good Friday. Buxton, like I said, they're in kind of limbo, really. They can still mathematically get promotion from the playoffs, but they'd have to probably win all their games and everyone else not win. And they could go down if they lose all their games and everyone else does win. So it's kind of, they might have already written off the season if you just keep coasting along, but that can work both ways. It can either be an easy walkover for Chester who turn up to the game and Buxton aren't really trying, or it's just they've got nothing to lose really, so they kind of just go all out for it. So it's a strange one, but yeah, just need to keep reiterating the fact that Chester just need goals. Yeah. Buxton have shipped 54 goals this season, so that's a little bit of hope.
And of course, with Charlie Caton going off injured in the game against South Shields, obviously Cal will be hoping that's nothing serious and he's got his striker back as soon as possible, because that'd be a big blow. They need all that firepower on the pitch if they can. So
more goals. That's all they need, because it's definitely a winnable game, I think. But it's down to Chester. They just need to step it up now, end of season, give it all they've got.
So we're now going to turn our attention to the women's team and their game at home to Poulton Victoria Ladies at the weekend. We were all there in attendance. What did you guys make of that one? It was a frustrating watch, but
yeah, I think it was a bit of an out of character performance really from Chester. Really dominated, to be fair, did Poulton. They were good performance from them. Really pinned Chester into their own half. And the issue for Chester was when they did break out, caught offside. Genuinely not exaggerating, about 30 times.
That's true, yeah.
The timing of the run, I mean, the high line from Poulton was causing them a lot of problems, so you've got to give Poulton some credit for that, but just the timing of the runs, timing of the pass, whatever it was wrong pretty much every time, and that must have been really frustrating for Martin. As well, winning first contacts in midfield, when the keeper for Chester put it upfield, Poulton were always the first there to it, and that's how they just kept Chester pinned in their half. I think it was a deserved win for them, and Chester will have to put it right because they're losing ground on Wythenshawe, and you'd probably say it's gone now because Wythenshawe looks so strong, and obviously the goal difference is a massive factor.
Yeah, I think at this point now they need to just make sure they get second, because that result puts Poulton just a point ahead of Chester, so there's obviously still a few games left this season to correct that, but that's the aim now, I think.
Yeah, it's I'll be honest, for the first half of the game I was watching MotoGP, so I had one eye on the game, one eye on the bikes, but from what I saw, Ben's mainly right, to be honest with you. It's a shame because we've all been to see the women in training and stuff, and they've got some serious skill, but I feel like when it comes to match day they fail to show it. They almost like get a bit scared and stuff, and afraid to really blossom and show the grit that they need to win games and stuff. But yeah, it's unfortunate because I think Poulton did deserve it. And to be fair, a special shout out to the centre half. She was incredible.
Yeah,
she was quite big, and
she was quick.
She was honestly
rapid. Yeah,
she was rapid. Really she was strong. She was tall, and she was really fast. So even if. To be fair, like you said, Chester got caught offside quite a bit, but she kept up.
If they weren't, she was there to sweep up.
Yeah. She was actually really good, and she could actually play some decent ball as well. She could play from the back quite well. So yeah, credit to her really. And it's an unfortunate game because like Martin said in his interview with you after the game, it's a game they certainly could win. They can beat everybody this season. It's unfortunate really. So we said this about the men's too. It's kind of feel like when we get involved with the teams, they start dropping off.
We're a bit of a curse. Like I think I've been to the last 4 games, men and women, and they've not scored a goal in any of them. Which I hope I'm not a curse, but
the difference there was though that Chester didn't really create the chances that the men's did.
Yeah.
In that game, I mean.
They had a couple of. There was a chance just on the stroke of half time. It went just over the bar. I mean, they had a couple of opportunities. I think there was a free kick that had to be tipped over as well. But compared to the amount of chances, just completely dominated. I think as well we should give a special mention to Sophie Foster in the goal for Polton, not in the goal for Polton, in the goal for Chester. Sorry, because she could have been a lot more than one.
Oh yeah, it was a fantastic double save at one point as well that she made, and that was
she very much kept the score down. I think so.
Yeah, she kept them in the game, and at that point there was only so much you can do. The rest of the team have to perform as well, and I think they just they fell flat really. Because like I said, we have seen them in training. They score goals for fun. Molly Wood in training and this season as well. She's fantastic at finishing.
I think it's important to say though, despite the last 3 results, obviously they've lost the last 3 games. Before that, they've won every game bar 2.
2, yeah.
It was Wivenshaw runaway leaders and Polton in the reverse fixture, first game of the season, I think. They've been brilliant this season. Compared to last season, they've improved remarkably. And I think a lot of credit has to go to Martin Fitzsimons for that.
Yeah.
The work he does with them, the camaraderie around the group. I think they're good to watch. They play some good stuff. He encourages them to play out, and they've had a really good season. Hopefully, they can put forward an application to get promoted because the facilities they've got now are brilliant. The training ground, obviously £2 million. A lot of investment's gone into that. Brilliant training ground. Now play at the Leap 76 as well, alongside the men's team. So hopefully that stands them in good stead, and I'm sure it will.
Yeah, like you said, I give a lot of credit to Martin. He knows what to do, and you hear him at the games and stuff. He's barking the orders that will fix the team and sort them out and stuff. And it's up to the women at that point to follow them orders, because a lot of times through that game, like you said, he said Blues first ball, and then like you said, they lost a lot of midfield battles in the air and stuff like that. And it's he knows what he's doing. I think it's just down for the women to maybe just trust the process a little bit more. I think, but I think a promotion might be out of reach now. It obviously depends on other teams, but they've certainly
certainly got to make sure they get second. I think because that's still very doable. Obviously, like you said, Ben, catching Withenshaw is going to be such a difficult task because they are just on a different level. Yeah. But
but I think they put themselves in good stead, if not this season, for next season to do some great work.
So the women actually have no game this weekend, but they are back in action the week after against Runcorn Linnets.
Runcorn Linnets Football Club Ladies Open Age.
There you go, there's your full name, Fabio. What do you think Martin will be looking for in that game that sort of wasn't there on Sunday?
A bit more ruthlessness, I think, especially considering they just played Runcorn as well before the Portland game, and they lost that in the cup. I think they've got a point to prove now. But yeah, following on what Ben said, they need to win more in midfield. They need to go strong, probably a bit stronger into challenges and stuff like that, and maintain the ball a little bit better, look after it a little bit better, and stay on side.
That would be helpful.
Yeah.
Just don't be frightened of playing out. That when they did play out with confidence,
did it well.
On the weekend, they did it well, and that's when they broke through the lines and they could break. Obviously, then they catch themselves offside, but that's a simple thing to fix. That's just common football IQ.
Yeah, we might need to mention at the Polton game there wasn't linesman present.
Oh, and Martin was doing the line for about the first half an hour.
Martin and one of his coaches was doing the line for the first half, but then he kind of gave up with that quite swiftly, and the referee sort of just gauged everything from
it's
the
not
every time
ideal,
Polton
but
went through offside.
He wasn't really too in touch with the game. The referee, he had a lot on his plate because he was doing a lot of his job and refereeing the actual game. But we were sat in line with the Chester attack and Fulton defence for the second half, and quite a few of his calls were right, weren't they? They were offside.
Yeah.
But I think Runcorn is it's a game they need to win to prove to them, not only themselves but everyone else in the league, that they've still got it and they can keep the chase coming up. And I think ruthlessness.
And as well with Polton obviously playing Withenshaw, that that gives an opportunity for Chester to close the gap, because obviously one of them two are going to drop points, and they have to capitalise on that and make sure they don't slip up anymore. They're going to finish second and or first, but obviously
Chester still have Wythenshawe to play as well. You have to think about that. Obviously, it looks a massive long shot, but you know, if Chester somehow do beat Wythenshawe on their own patch, then they're suddenly back in it. But they need to pretty much win every game for the rest of the season. Yeah. But as long as they come second, I think it's been a really successful season, and hopefully they can get back on track against Runcorn.
What would you say Chester fans are hoping for the Poulton Wythenshawe game? A draw or a Poulton win, maybe, to stop Wythenshawe's run?
I think a draw.
I'd argue a Poulton win, because
I think a Poulton win purely because I think the ambition, like the ultimate ambition, still has to be to win the league. Yeah. Obviously, it's a major long shot.
Yeah.
But a point for Wythenshawe, and then they win the rest of their games, or even if Chester beat Wythenshawe, I think that would still put them level on points about.
Maybe it's tight.
Can't think exactly. But the goal difference just kills any other team's hopes. So I think the only way Chester will finish above Wythenshawe is if Poulton beat Wythenshawe and Chester can win beat Wythenshawe, because then it's in their own hands for Chester.
So that concludes what we think is episode 12 of the Cestrian Central podcast. I'd like to thank Ben and Fabio for joining me on today's episode.
It's been a wonderful episode, thank you.
In terms of future podcasts, obviously our deadline for this module is tomorrow, and we aren't sure really if we'll be continuing with the podcast. But if you're fans and you want to see us continue it, then do let us know, because I think there's potential. We'd be happy to get a podcast out now and again.
Yeah, let us know.
We do enjoy doing it.
We'll put Corey and Brandon on it, and they'll get back to you in 2 to 3 working months. And we'll bring out a pod every 6 months or so. Just covering season and summer and stuff.
Do let us know, and thanks for listening, and we will see you soon.